The intergalactic slave market on Station Omega-7 reeked of desperation and forgotten dreams. James wiped down the grimy floors with practiced efficiency, his maintenance uniform marking him as invisible to the wealthy traders who passed through daily. He had seen countless species bought and sold over his 3 years as a station cleaner, but nothing prepared him for the creature in cage 47. She was magnificent and tragic all at once. Her scales shimmered with an iridescent purple that caught the harsh station lighting, and her eyes, ancient, golden, intelligent, tracked every movement in the corridor. The sign above her cage read, "Draconian female, infertile, discount price 1 credit. "I'm infertile," she announced in perfect galactic standard as James approached with his mop. Her voice carried the weight of shame and defiance. "Buy me for what? I cannot produce heirs. I cannot continue bloodlines. I am worthless to my kind." James paused, meeting those golden eyes. In the complex hierarchy of galactic civilization, humans occupied an unusual position. Neither apex predators nor prey, neither ancient wisdom nor newfound upstarts. They were simply there, filling roles others deemed beneath them, surviving through adaptability. "What's your name?" James asked quietly. "Jessica," she replied, surprised that anyone would ask. "Jessica of the 7th Flame Clutch, last of my maternal line. I'm James, just James." Over the following weeks, James found excuses to clean near cage 47. Jessica told him of her world, Draconis Prime, where females were valued solely for reproductive capability. A genetic mutation had rendered her sterile, and her family had sold her rather than face the dishonor of housing a defective daughter. "Your people are fools," James said one day, his anger barely contained. "You speak 6 languages. You have a degree in quantum mechanics. You've memorized the complete historical records of 3 civilizations. And they reduce you to a breeding vessel." Jessica's laugh was bitter. "What would a human understand of heritage and legacy?" James smiled sadly. "More than you'd think. We nearly destroyed ourselves over who had the right bloodline, the right genes, the right ancestry. We learned eventually that worth isn't measured in DNA. The station slave market was scheduled for liquidation. Unsold merchandise would be incinerated. Jessica had 3 days left." James appeared at her cage that final evening holding a single credit chip. The trader, eager to close out inventory, barely glanced at the paperwork. "She's yours, cleaner. Don't expect a refund." In James's modest quarters, Jessica stood awkwardly, her 7-foot frame barely fitting in the human-sized space. "Why?" she demanded. "Why waste your money on me?" "It wasn't a waste," James said simply. "And you're not property anymore. You're free." "Free to do what?" "I'm sterile. In my culture, I'm already dead. Then start a new life here with me if you want. Or somewhere else. Your choice." Jessica studied this peculiar human who had spent his last credit to buy someone society had declared worthless. "What do you want from me, James?" "Help me run the hydroponics bay. I've been trying to get the Zenovian orchids to bloom for months. I figure someone with a degree in quantum mechanics might spot what I'm missing." It wasn't romance that grew between them first. It was partnership. Jessica's scientific knowledge combined with James's practical experience transformed the station's struggling gardens into thriving ecosystems. They worked 16-hour days, spoke over shared meals, and slowly built something neither had expected: friendship, respect, and eventually, love. "Human biochemistry is so strange," Jessica murmured one night, curled against James in a space they'd modified to accommodate her size. "Your doctors confirmed what I've been feeling. It's impossible," but James held her closer. "But I'm pregnant." The medical staff at Station Omega-7 were baffled. Human draconian hybrids were theoretically impossible. The genetic gap too vast, the biochemistry incompatible. Yet Jessica carried a child, the first of what xenobiologists would later call viable cross-species miracle offspring. Dr. Chen, the station's chief medical officer, showed them the scans. "There's something in human reproductive biology we didn't understand. You carry what we're calling adaptive genetic factors. Your DNA doesn't just combine with compatible species. It actively repairs and compensates for genetic damage in partners." "You're saying humans can cure infertility in other species?" Jessica asked, her voice shaking. "In certain cases, yes. It's why humans have been so successful at integrating with hundreds of worlds. You don't just adapt to new environments, you help others adapt too. News spread through the galactic community like plasma fire. The worthless human cleaner and the defective dragon lady became symbols of something profound. Humanity's gift wasn't strength or technology or ancient wisdom. It was the ability to see worth where others saw waste, to build bridges across impossible divides, to make the broken whole again. 5 years later, James and Jessica stood before the Galactic Council. Their daughter, a beautiful hybrid with her mother's scales and her father's determined eyes, held between them. Humanity's petition for full council membership has been debated for decades, the Arbiter announced. Today we grant it, not for your military might or economic power, but for what you truly offer the galaxy: hope, healing, and the radical notion that worth is inherent, not assigned. Jessica squeezed James's hand, remembering a grimy corridor and a man with a mop who had seen a person where everyone else saw merchandise. We humans have a saying, James told the assembled representatives. One person's trash is another person's treasure. We just believe everyone's a treasure, waiting for someone to notice.